Dawn breaks over the eastern horizon, a river of gold washing over the desert. Before the sun is even fully risen, the tribe is already in motion. You can almost hear the sand grinding under their calloused feet as men, women, and even children move across the packed earth. They carry everything they need for the day: baskets of flint, ropes woven from palm fibers, water skins made from goat hide. Every single movement is driven by a deep sense of purpose, of urgency. This isn't just a job. This is survival. At the front of the line, a young stone hauler pushes his shoulder against a massive limestone block. It's lashed to a wooden sledge, and you can see the sweat streaming down his back, his muscles trembling with the sheer effort. Around him, dozens more push and pull in perfect, desperate unison. Their synchronized breaths sound like a single, massive animal, panting and straining as they advance towards something colossal rising in the shimmering distance. An unfinished pyramid, already looking like a mountain built by spirits. The last flood failed. The Nile was cruel, drowning some fields while starving others. A sudden hiss of wind whips across the landscape, spraying dust into their faces. The workers pause, shielding their eyes. On the horizon, dark clouds churn like rising beasts. It's a sandstorm, and it's coming fast. Instantly, the disciplined calm shatters into organized chaos. Women grab their children, covering their heads with cloth. Men shove the heavy sledges into trenches to anchor them down. Overseers are shouting, waving their arms, pointing everyone toward a line of shelters carved into a limestone ridge. But the storm hits before they can all make it to safety. The world goes black, turning into a roaring nightmare of grit and wind. The sand feels like 1,000 tiny blades cutting their skin. A mother clutches her baby under her shawl. A builder wraps his arm around a friend, guiding him blindly forward. They stumble, they crawl, they choke on the sand. The wind tries to swallow them whole. But they keep moving together. Minutes feel like hours. And then, just as suddenly as it began, there's silence. The storm passes, leaving behind a ghostly, dust-caked world. The tribe emerges, coughing and blinking, but alive. They regroup, checking for injuries. One man limps heavily, his ankles swollen and red. A healer immediately kneels beside him, crushing desert herbs with a stone, mixing them with water, and pressing the paste onto the wound. This isn't just about compassion, it's about necessity. They need every single hand to survive. So they go back to it, hauling, pushing, pulling, building. The pyramid must rise, because their lives depend on it. Hours later, the heat shimmers off the limestone like waves from a burning sea. The workers are clever, dragging the sledges through sand. They've lubricated with water, a trick passed down from the ancients who mastered this desert before them. Others are carving precise channels in the stones with copper chisels sharpened on river pebbles. And high above, on rickety wooden scaffolds, rope crews use long poles to leverage the giant blocks into place. It's all about rhythm, precision, and sweat. It's survival disguised as construction. As the sun begins to set, the tribe heads toward the Nile to refill their water. Children run ahead, splashing their hands in the cool water. Women kneel in the shallows, scooping water, washing the day's grit from their hair. Fishermen cast nets made of woven reeds, pulling in shimmering, wriggling silverfish. But then, a flicker of movement across the riverbank. 3 figures appear. Their bare torsos are streaked with ash, their eyes sharp, like starving wolves. A rival desert clan. The women tense up. The children freeze. The fishermen raise their spears just slightly, not as a threat, but to show they are ready. The rivals just watch from across the reeds, their hunger radiating from them like heat. For a long moment, the world holds its breath. Then, the rivals retreat silently back into the tall grass. There's no violence, not tonight. But the message is clear. The desert is shrinking. Food is getting scarcer. Survival is becoming a war fought without words. Night falls, and fires crackle across the worker camp. The tribe eats together fish roasted on embers, barley cakes, dates pass from hand to hand. Children fall asleep, curled up next to their mothers. The elders grind herbs for the next day's inevitable wounds. The injured worker lies with his foot elevated, tended by watchful hands. But there's no real rest. Not when tomorrow will demand a strength they barely have left. Dawn arrives again, this time with a blood-red sky. Today's task is especially dangerous, positioning a block near the upper tier. The rope crew braces for men pull the guiding line while others shove from below. The blockers as slowly, inch by painful inch, up the wooden rails. Their feet dig into the sand, their tendons strain. Every heartbeat is a struggle. And then a rope snaps, the crack echoes across the worksite. The block jerks backward, sliding, dragging two men with it. One worker clings to the rope, the friction burning his palms raw. The other slips, dangling only by the rope tied around his waist. The giant block is about to crash down the ramp, crushing everyone below. In that single instant, the tribe reacts as one. 3 men throw their weight onto the guiding rope. 2 women race forward, jamming wooden wedges under the sledge. The young builder from before leaps onto the ramp, grabs the dangling man's arm, his teeth clenched with the effort. Sand pours from under their feet. The block shudders, holds for 1 breath, 2 breaths, and stops. The workers collapse, gasping but alive. The man who was saved kneels, touching his forehead to the ground in silent thanks. An elder wraps the burned hands with linen strips soaked in honey. But their victory is cut short. A distant roar rises again out the wind this time. Something deeper. The rival clan is back, but this time they're armed with spears tipped with blackened bone. Their long shadows stretch across the desert as they approach. Hunger has finally turned into desperation. Workers scramble down the pyramid. Some grab heavy stone flakes to use as weapons. Others wield wooden poles. The women pull the children into the center of the camp, forming a protective ring. The rivals charge. Sand erupts. Spears fly through the air. The fight is fierce and brutal, mostly silent except for grunts, the thud of impacts, and bodies hitting the sand. One worker takes a spear to the shoulder and collapses. A woman leaps over him, swinging a pole that cracks against a rival's jaw. In the chaos, the young builder grapples with a rival twice his size. They roll on the ground, sand choking them. The rival reaches for a stone knife, but the builder slams his elbow down, disarming him. With a final surge of strength, he pins the attacker. At last, the rivals retreat, carrying their wounded, disappearing back into the dunes. Silence returns, but this silence feels different. It feels earned. One, the tribe gathers around their injured. Elders press herbs into the wound, sealing it with clay. Women bring water. The children stare with wide, frightened eyes, but the builder kneels and gives them a calm, steady nod. And together, they all breathe again. At dusk, they return to the pyramid. The final block of the day is lifted, not as labor, but as a symbol of their triumph. Everyone participates, even the wounded who can still stand. The block slides perfectly into place. The pyramid grows. Their shelter grows. Their future grows. As the sun finally dips below the horizon, the workers sit together on the warm limestone. They share a single meal, passed from hand to hand under the vast Egyptian sky. The children fall asleep in their parents' arms. The injured lie in the center, being cared for. The tribe watches the stars come out. A new constellation seems to glitter above the half-built pyramid. It looks like hope, like strength, like survival. And in that moment, after the storms, the injuries, and the battle, they feel it. This isn't just about surviving. It's about legacy, a monument rising from sweat, pain, and their unbreakable will. A monument that will outlive them all.